It is almost ice fishing season, ladies and gentlemen. It is one of my two favorite seasons. I don't really care about spring and summer. I'm more of a deer season and an ice fishing season kind of guy. So if you jumped on the channel last year, you'll remember that in my final sled build video, I said stay tuned, subscribe, because I have an idea for next year. And here we are next year. So maybe you have somebody in your life who you really want to take out ice fishing, but they don't feel comfortable walking out onto the ice. Maybe they've had a recent surgery, maybe they're old, seniored in life, and maybe just that seniority in life has made them not want to trudge out onto the ice, so they had to go ice fishing. Well, we need to keep those dreams alive, ladies and gentlemen. We need to keep more people on the ice. So what we need to do, we need to make the hard water walker and make trudging out onto the ice a little safer. Let's get dusty. So let's talk initial plans and initial ideas. So the idea behind this is I want somebody who has a hard time, either, like I said, either just mobility-wise or just in their head safety-wise. I want them to be able to scooch out onto the ice to go fishing. And I want them to do it safely, and I want them to be able to literally turn around, sit their butt right here, and fish. So what that's going to mean is I need to figure out a way for them to get it out there where they can control it, where they can still slide and stop, and then in some way that they can just turn around and fish. So the parts where the wheels, the casters went into, have threads in them, like they welded nuts in there. So I'm going to take those parts off of the casters. I'm going to weld it into there, and then I will screw it back in. And then these right here that don't have the nut is what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a smaller diameter tube, fit it inside the regular tube, fit it in there. I'll weld it to the tube here, and I'll just bolt it through here, and that'll give me my extensions. So we're going to do that to try to get this thing to sit at the same level as it did when I had wheels. Since I do not have any small enough tubing to fit inside this diameter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this piece, make a slit or two through here, all the way down, and then kind of roll it in itself to see if I can get it to slide in here. Then I will weld it to this, and then I will try to bolt it onto that. In theory, this will work. So once I cut that slot out that you just saw me, I clamped it back together with the vise, threw a tack welds on it, got it more into a circle-y shape. Long case. It's flipping hot. Anyways, so there it is. So it did work. So all you now do is bring her on over her. And I had to throw some weld around. I had to throw some weld around it because it was still a little loose in there, so I just wanted to kind of tighten it up. But now we just made an extension. So while I'm waiting on trying to figure out what I want to do for feet on this thing, I need to work on the parking brake situation, because I don't want them to sit down and then just go sliding 40 feet across the ice. However, that would be hilarious. That's kind of the opposite of what I'm going for here. So I need a way that I can set that spike into the ice and hold it there, because as of right now, you just hold the brake and let it go. So I need something that's going to hold it and keep it there. My thought process is I have this. It is a paper towel holder. I'm thinking of cutting it up, trying to see if I can get it to slide over this, doing some kind of spacer in here, drill a hole through there, and basically make a D-ring that once you put this up, you can put these up here and then lock it. That's kind of the plan. Let's see how things go. Instead of doing what I was going to do, which was making a spacer in here and then doing that, I actually was able to just make a D-ring like this. So all you got to do now is you hold your brake up, you slide that on, and then it holds your brake, and then when you're done, we're done. Did one on that side too, but it is scalding hot because I just welded it, so I'm not going to touch that for you. I know you want to. I'm not going to. We are on to the point where we need to figure out what to do about this area right here, the feet. because if I leave it like this, it's not going to glide very well on the ice. And again, I don't want you to have to lift it because it's going to weigh a lot. So I came up with this idea, a baseball. It's got just a little bit of porous to it where I think it'll help not glide forever, but it'll help you glide just enough. So that's what we're going to do. I got 4 of these. I'm going to drill a hole, and then we're going to attach them to the bottom. And that is going to be how we make this thing mobile. I think it's safe to say that I've never drilled a hole in a baseball before. So this will be a first. Now the plan with this is using the drill press so I can get a consistent depth. And it's got the little hole that it just sits so beautifully in. So there, a clamp just feels a little safer. So here's how I have this set up for this brake system. So I have the parking brake set on, which then makes this thing down as far as it'll go. And as you can see, I actually have this blocked up a 1/4 inch off of the ground. Then I have the spike sitting on the ground. So that should give me a 1/4 inch to jam it into the ice. And then I've just clamped this thing in. Now I'm going to tack weld onto that brake lever. And then that should work. Alright, had a little oopsie doopsie with the spacing wise on these spikes, and as you can see I actually had to notch them out to go around the balls. So now when you pull this up here though, they'll spike down. Alright, so I got this thing set up so when Grandma's out there on the ice, she's probably not going to slide all around, crack her head open. Ideally. So now is the fun part. Now we're going to turn this thing into the ice fishing machine portion of it. So I am going to add a arm that comes out, a telescoping arm for a fish finder, and a telescoping arm on the one side for a pole holder, and we're going to add a little storage underneath in the front. So now in order to build these things, I've got some 1-inch PVC and a ton of PVC fittings. Now, so that's what we're going to use to build these things. Alright, so the pole holder section is complete. It's pretty simple to do, just a bunch of T's and a bunch of nipples and an elbow and all that fun stuff. So, plop it in, and you'll have it, when you're walking out, you'll have it set against the side of this thing. And then when you're out and you need that arm room, it'll just arm right out for you, and you'll be able to still grab your poles from while you're sitting down. And then when it's time to go back, there you go. So you'll be able to bring 3 different poles out with you. Now let's go to the other side and make the actual telescoping arm. That's what I'm excited about. Alright, so the fish finder arm, the mock-up is complete. I do want to drop it down probably another 4 or 5 inches, and here's why. So here's the idea behind it. Again, it's mocked in. I still have to do a little bit more securing. So the idea will be that you will swing it way over here. Fish finder will sit right in the bucket. You may want to put a bungee over the top of it just so it doesn't rattle out. There is obviously lips on this to hold it so it doesn't come around. But you'll have your fish finder here, and then you'll just be fishing and jigging here. Again, that's why I want to drop it down a little bit low. I think it is sitting a little high for that. But then when you're done, you're just going to telescope it back in, and you're good to go. So the last step that I want to do on this is I want to make a spot for your tackle to sit, or just any other little things of storage that you're going to need. So what I want to do is I'm going to make a kind of like a base right in here. I want to make basically a platform in here that I can just take this tote and it'll kind of slide in almost like a drawer, so therefore you can grab in between your legs. You can put this out, put that in, and that way you can still sit there and everything will be there.
like stuff like this and builds like this, you must be an ice fishing fan. And if you're an ice fishing fan, I was just recently on the Hard Water Fishing Show podcast. I talk about the hole hopper. I talk about all the other stuff. I even mentioned a little bit about this. So check them out at hardwatershow.com. I will link all their cool stuff below. Check them out if you're enjoying ice fishing. So after I get done with this, you check them out, and I'm going to keep working on this. Okay, so the way that this whole pivot system works, it obviously, I've got it basically sealed on one side with the screw, and the other side is going to allow that to pivot. The problem is that when you pivot too much and you just keep pivoting, you can see it right here, and it pivots itself right off. I did kind of lubricate it to try to help it with the pivot system. So my plan originally was to make a slot right along here and then put a screw through there, and then that would do that. But the problem is I think that would affect the mobility of it, and it would lessen your range here. So brainstorm with my buddy Ben. If you don't have a buddy Ben, I suggest you get a buddy Ben, because they're amazing. I actually did a blaster build with Ben. Check that out. So kind of spitballing ideas with him, and we came up with a couple different ones. The easiest and I think the best one is going to be, and I'm doing the splits right now so I can film this, and I keep going more and more splits, is drill a hole through here, out this, put a bolt in, loosely thread it on, and that won't allow it. I don't know if it's doing that because I'm just really splitting here. I don't know if it's walking its way up because of some kind of weird air pressure system or whatever, but every pivot point, it's doing that. So I'm going to drill a hole, put a bolt, and I think we solved the problem. Alright, ran into a problem in the design. I kind of had a feeling this was going to happen. So the arm that comes off for the fish finder is not strong enough to hold an entire fish finder. It's actually a lot heavier than I remember. It's been a few months. So to combat that is, unfortunately, I'm going to have to make a leg that sits on this telescopic arm to hold it. To do that, I need it to be able to pivot around. And I just told you I was having problems with pivoting. So I've solved this. So here's what I did. Is I took a diameter pipe and I actually sanded it down. You can kind of see there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide this through this T, and I sanded these edges down on these two right here, so that this slides in, this slides over, and this will slide over and in. So this will be able to pivot freely, and then I will screw these two, so I'll screw that pipe in, so this will be able to do that, and then I'll create your leg to go up and down. That's my solution to this. It was something I thought might happen, wasn't quite sure, and it did happen. And that's why we are testing it in the shop. Hard water walker is now complete. We've had a couple design changes, a couple alterations that I tried to do, and all that kind of stuff. Come with me and let me show you exactly the entire setup of this bad girl. So what I got right here is your storage area for your tackle, your snacks, whatever you need. That'll just come out and go in. That's the first storage area I got. Now what I got down here, you can see, is I got these brake systems that will spike into the ice and hold you right into place. And that is controlled up here by the parking brakes that I did, which latch right up there. I can't do it with one hand. Not that good. Now let me take you over to the rod holder section, which is right here. So now once you sit down, all you gotta do is telescope that bad boy out, so when you're sitting here, you'll be able to actually get it. And then when you're traveling, so you can hold 3 rods right there without a problem. Now let's take you over to the telescoping area for the fish finder, and that's where things got a little complex. So as you can see here, is I have a zip tie that holds this up and on. Pull that up, move the other fish finder out of the way, bring that down, and then you're going to just, it'll be better when you have 2 hands. I have one right now. So anyway, you get the clue. So then that will sit down as your leg right here, and then your fish finder will sit right into that bucket right there. So the thing is that I wanted this thing to sit in here the entire time. The problem is I don't think you want your few hundred or few $1,000 fish finder sitting in a bucket like this, bobbing around on some PVC.
and I couldn't figure out a way around that. So I think the best option will be is on the way out. You set it right there. Once you have the arm set where you want and staked down, then you just put her in. So I think that's kind of the way I'm gonna have to work around that. I tried a couple different arm situations. I even tried doing a metal arm. That didn't work the best. And this does extend, I believe, about 24 inches out away from you. And now let's walk around to the front, which is the final storage area, which I realized the bucket is taped together, and that's because I bought the wrong size bucket. And I originally had the wrong size bucket back there for the fish finder because I did. So tape the bucket back together so you can see all this is just carabinered on. So you'll be able to put your fish in there or other tackle, whatever you need, and then you're back around to this. So let's actually see how this thing works.
Oh, hi guys, alright. I'm gonna go use the hard water walker on this blue ice, and you see the hole right there? That's where I'm gonna fish. Let's see how this thing works. Oh wow, this thing's nice. This thing's real nice. Let's see how it works. Oh yeah, I think this is where I'm going to fish. Alright, sorry, now let me set the parking brakes real quick, so I don't go sliding all over the place here. Alright, parking brakes are on, she ain't moving. Alright, now let me take this arm out here. Alright. Still got my arm on here. Yeah, okay, yeah. Alright. Yep, now I put the fish finder right here. And then I'll put the transducer in the hole. Alright, yeah. And then we just sit on down. Yep, all right. Oh yeah, we'll need some fishing poles to go fishing around there, yep. You get her on there. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna need my tackle. Good thing I got it right here. Oh boy, that's nice. Real nice. Yep. I'd say this thing works real nice. Jiggy jiggy, jiggy jiggy, catching fish, alright. Put her back down there. Yep. Slide that in. Stand my little booty up. Alright. Don't want to fall down. Transducer up. Put this right here. Put this right here. Slide her around in here. Yep, sir. Parking brakes off. Alright. Now we just slide around. Don't step in the hole. That's nice. This is real nice.
Alright guys, so this is it. This is the hard water walker. What'd you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you didn't like it, keep that part to yourself because I don't want to hear it. If you have some other things that you want to see me do to it, maybe some other ideas, you can let me know on those down below. Thank you guys for watching, and stay safe on the ice this year. Make sure you check out hardwatershow.com. I'll be on there as a guest. Again, I'll link them in the description below. Stay safe this year, and I'll see you guys on the next one.